You're listening to The Heart of You on Paris Underground Radio.
Welcome back. This is Annette Deleu, and you are listening to The Heart of You on Paris Underground Radio. In today's episode, we are going to dive really deep into soul family and soulmates. I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty hot topic because we have all heard of soulmates, haven't we? Every single person on the planet has heard of some version of a soulmate. I'm going to help you get a better understanding of what a soulmate is and how it actually fits into the entire picture of the universe and how we are all connected. If you imagine that the universe is one big energy, everything within the universe has a singular energy. That is how it was at one point. If you want to talk about an origin story or however you want to label it, it's fine. But just imagine that you have this energy source that is the divine, that is God, whatever you want to call it. And it was entirely complete within itself. And it decided that it wanted to experience various different things. And it couldn't do so being 100% contained as a singular entity or a singular energy. So it started breaking off pieces and parts of itself. And with each piece and part, there was another piece and part that came off of that piece, and so on and so forth. And that is how you have souls. That is how you have all kinds of different energies that are experiencing different things at the exact same time. Imagine it almost as if those particular souls are reporting back the information back to that universal source consciousness. And that is exactly what we do on a day-to-day basis, lifetime after lifetime. So let's back up a little bit. Once those pieces and parts have broken off of the whole of the divine, of the universe, of that universal energy, they have created almost clusters of souls. In some of these clusters of souls, you have, let's say, the collective soul of animals. So each collective soul has a sort of sub-part of it. If you want to think about it in terms of, let's say, large cats, so lions and tigers and pumas and all kinds of large cats. So let's say they all have a collective soul. This is why you have a lot of the same behaviors. This is why you will find that one type of animal will have the same behavior on one side of the continent, and then the other type of animal will have the exact same behavior, and let's say they are odd behaviors for something that has been observed. It is because of this collective soul within the animal kingdom. Now, how it's been shown to me, and keep in mind, this is my interpretation. This is how my angels and my guides have shown it to me. You may take from it a slightly different interpretation. Essentially, if a soul wants to break off from the collective, it continues to have experiences that will allow it to sort of separate itself from the whole. For example, if you take big cats, so let's say you reincarnate over and over again as a large cat, and one time you're a lion, one time you're a cheetah, whatever it happens to be. And then maybe at some point you're injured, and let's say you get rescued by an organization or some place that is doing rehabilitation of animals. Then you start interacting with humans. You start interacting with other species of animals, maybe other species that you had never interacted with before. That creates a unique experience for that particular animal. And as that soul evolves, it creates more and different experiences within its own soul experience. So then maybe from that point, that animal would then choose to be, let's say, a dog. And let's say it chooses to be a pet. And then in which case it is separating itself even further from that collective soul. And it happens over the course of time where that soul is finally able to be autonomous in and of itself, while still connected to the whole. It is able to operate independently with free will, and there are always those elements that are still staying with us from being part of that collective soul. But at the same time, we are able to now forge our path forward for the purpose that our soul has been given and the purpose that we have also decided upon. If you would like to say co-created with the universe, that is also a really good way to put it. So let's say you as a soul, you started off as reincarnating in various different places as blades of grass, as flowers, as rocks, as the ground, any number of things. And our souls do this to experience everything we possibly can on this earth. And then eventually you decide, okay, hey, I think it's time for me to start experiencing actual sentient life. And I will start to incarnate as various different animals from the animal kingdom, mammals in the ocean, whatever it happens to be. And you start to incorporate that into your experience. And then there comes a time when you are ready and you think, okay, you know what? I am ready to start experiencing a human life, in which case you decide to incarnate in a human body, in a human existence. Now, this may be a little bit out there for some people to really comprehend that we have incarnated as grass and trees and animals and all kinds of things. But for those of you who can really stay with me at this moment and just, even if you're skeptical about it, just kind of hang on for a moment and see where I'm going with it. And then if it's resonating with you, beautiful. If it doesn't, it's completely okay. Like I said, this is how the sort of structure of how souls come about and how souls evolve. This is how it's been shown to me. Have you ever had a pet where you just feel like they are a person, like they have their own personality, they have their own way of being? And I would say that that particular soul is probably pretty close to breaking off from that collective soul and actually incarnating into a human body. Now, I know that if any of you have pets out there, I can imagine that you feel that there have been times where you have had the same pet over and over again. And that absolutely does happen. I have had the same cat in 3 different physical cats. So throughout the course of my lifetime, it's been the same soul in 3 different cat bodies. You can see the difference in their personalities and how they've evolved, in addition to the fact that you can still see some of those similar behaviors that they had in the past. Did you know that you can actually ask your pet to come back to you? You can. I mean, they have free will and they don't necessarily have to if they have other things that they need to do. But you can actually, if you lose a beloved pet, you can actually ask their soul, hey, would you mind coming back and living another lifetime with me? I would really, really love to have you with me. And they will let you know, they will give you signs to let you know that they are willing to come back and walk this journey with you. Because our pets don't just hang out with us and keep us company and give us that unconditional love. They have an active part in our spiritual awakening. They have an active part in clearing energy. They have an active part in a lot of what they do for us on an energetic level that we don't even realize. So that covers the sort of collective soul and how the parts break off from the whole. Once you get to that space of incarnating as a human, you connect with other souls that have similar goals or similar soul purposes. And this, in fact, is called a soul family. What I've been told is that there are anywhere from 100 to 200 people in your soul family, but that doesn't mean that those are the only people that you interact with over the course of time. In fact, you could sort of overlap with another soul family and have experiences with other people for so long that they actually start feeling like soul family. So if you imagine two circles that are separate and they're filled with, let's say, 200 dots each, and then you let those circles converge and overlap. In that overlapping space is where you're going to find some of those other people who may not be part of your soul family, but who are in fact really significant in your life because you've lived so many lifetimes together. I had a really funny conversation with a really good friend of mine. She is a dear, dear friend. We have been friends for over 20 years. And I was looking into her Akashic records and she asked, so, I want to know, are we in each other's soul family? And the answer came back that we were not. And she was really, really just irritated by that. She's like, well, I think that's wrong. And you tell the angels that we're part of the same soul family and that's it. And I totally agreed with her because we feel just so completely connected to each other. And the difference is the fact that we are part of different soul families, but we have had so much overlap over the course of lifetimes that we do operate like we are in the same soul family. The biggest difference is the fact that when you're with the people from your soul family before you incarnate on Earth, you actually sort of come up with a plan and sort of the different roles that each of you are going to play, whether some of you are going to actually stay back and hang out in the spirit realm to actually help the others who are down here on Earth, or whether we decide to actually have a part in each other's physical lives. Sometimes we actually don't even connect with some of the people in our soul family at all during a lifetime. Maybe they're off elsewhere learning a lesson somewhere else on Earth. Whatever the case may be, we all kind of create this plan prior to incarnating. And then we decide, okay, cool. So we're going to go down and we're going to do this. And let's see how this plays out as far as learning our lessons and everything else. And then let's say at the end of it, at the end of that lifetime, we did not necessarily accomplish the things that we wanted to accomplish. So we'll come back, we'll do our little life review, we'll kind of chat with each other and say, okay, so that didn't work, so maybe we need to try something different. And then in which case, other parts of your soul family may step in because they may have better skills at certain things in which they can help you have the experiences that you need to have and vice versa. So that brings us to soul mates. Now, there are certain aspects of soulmates that have been distorted in a way. Because if you say that, oh, this person is my soulmate, they are basically the only person that I could ever have this experience with, and it is my one and only soulmate. That can be true because there are possibilities that in your soul contract, you've written it in that you have this one soulmate and that you are meant to meet in this lifetime and you are meant to have a romantic connection and get married or whatever the case may be. That could be written into your soul contract. What could also be written into your soul contract as well is that you're going to meet a soulmate and they end up being a dear friend, or they end up being somebody who changes your life forever, but you've only ever interacted with them over the course of, let's say, a 24-hour period. Soulmates can be so many different things, and they can actually also be part of your soul family. It just depends on what your particular experience is. A soulmate can simply be somebody who has been in your life for many, 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 many lifetimes. And so it feels so familiar and you have worked through so much together that this is something that just feels right. It's a magnetic pull. It's this thing that you just can't describe. And sometimes that can be a good thing, and sometimes it can be a bad thing, because there are times when we have people within our soul contracts that have expired long past due, and yet we're still playing out these roles or these experiences with these people in which we don't need to experience this anymore. Let's say you have a person that you've met and you're like, I just can't explain it. I just know them. I know everything about them. I feel like I've known them forever. And I know we have this pull together, but I just don't understand why. The relationship, let's say, is challenging. Let's say the relationship is not that fantastic, but so it feels disjointed because you feel this connection, but at the same time, it doesn't feel right in your heart. That could be the result of an outdated soul contract. Maybe this person was a soulmate in a previous lifetime. This energy was meant to dissipate and move on, and yet it hasn't yet. That could be the example of a soulmate that has come into your life at some point, but then doesn't actually need to stick around in your life in this lifetime. Are you trying to manifest your dream of moving to Paris? If you are, I would highly recommend listening to the Paris Estate of Mind podcast. It is right here on Paris Underground Radio, and it will give you everything that you need to know about renting apartments in the City of Light. We will be right back with the Heart of You after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to the Heart of You on Paris Underground Radio. Obviously, on the flip side, when you have a beautiful, harmonious relationship with somebody, and it is just yummy and easy, and you walk this complete, beautiful path together, this is, in fact, one of the most rewarding relationships that you could have. Now, it is different than a twin flame relationship. Soulmates and twin flames are completely different experiences. I will get to that in a future episode. Actually, the last episode of this season, we are going to talk about twin flames. Twin flames, just quickly as a definition, are two people that are part of the same soul, and they have come down to have this experience and this connection together in order to rapidly grow their soul's experience. So it's rapid soul growth. And with that comes a lot of challenge, a lot of shadow that you have to face, and it is very much not for the faint of heart. So I just want to clarify that not everybody has a twin flame. It is a decision that we make prior to incarnating on this earth. Back to the soulmate experience. When you have a soulmate, and I'm sure that you have had this experience many times, a soulmate doesn't always have to be a romantic partner. A soulmate can be one of your best friends. It could be a family member. It could be anyone in your experience, in your human experience. Now, most times people really focus on the soulmate aspect of romantic relationships because that is the dream, right? That is what everybody dreams of having, is this beautiful, perfect relationship with somebody who will spend the rest of their lives with you and be able to experience wonderful things together. And that's a really beautiful dream to have. The one thing I will ask you is, what is it that you truly want? What is it that you truly want to experience in this lifetime? Is it simply coasting from now until the end of this lifetime and then going into the next? Or do you want to learn the lessons that you have to learn? Do you want to do the work that you need to do in order to sort of evolve into that next state of existence? That choice is entirely up to you. Soulmates can be there to help you and to push you out of the energy that you may have carried with you from a past life. So let's say you really are untrusting of people because of something that happened in many previous lifetimes. A soulmate might come in to just soothe that energy for you, might show you what beautiful, loving trust looks like, and help you have the experiences that you really need to have in order to start having that trust again. There are reasons for soulmates coming into your life. There are also what we call vacation lifetimes. Sometimes if you've done a lot of really, really hard work in previous lifetimes, you might be able to have a vacation. Essentially what that means is that you have an incarnation on Earth where you just get to experience the best of what you are able to experience, whether it is in love, whether it is in money, whether it is in your career, whatever it is. Everything just kind of flows very easily and comes very easily to you. You don't necessarily have to work very hard for anything. Everything is just sort of effortless. and you are happy about it. That is the difference. You are very, very happy about it, and you're very grateful for everything that you have. So when you have a vacation lifetime like this, it's basically a little bit of a reward for all the work that you've done in the past. If this is not you, and you feel like you have not had a very cushy, coasting life that has been really easy, welcome, because that's most of us here on this planet. Keep in mind that there are always reasons for the things that we go through. Here is the big question. Do we only have one soulmate for a romantic partner? The answer is it really depends on your own personal journey and experience. I have to say that sometimes I think when people hear that, it kind of scares them a little bit because we have been brought up to think, oh, well, there's that one special person that is just for us. And that can be true. That absolutely can be true for a lot of us. But it depends on what is in your soul contract. If you don't have a soulmate here on earth, that's totally fine. There is absolutely nothing wrong with not having a soulmate. What does that mean? That means that the entire world, every single person on this planet is open for you to explore and to have experiences with. So you can choose that person that you want to spend your life with. You can choose the experiences that you want to have. As freeing as that may sound, a lot of people find that idea very daunting because you start getting into those thoughts of, oh God, did I pick right? Is this the right person? I don't know what to think because what if there's somebody better? And it's all about setting your intentions. It's setting your intentions for what you actually want in a connection, or actually working with your guides and asking your guides to say, hey, what is it that I need to learn right now? And they will send you somebody who is going to give you those experiences. That covers, I guess, the scariest part, the scariest thought that, oh gosh, what if I don't have a soulmate? It's okay. It's completely okay if you don't have a soulmate because you can create a beautiful, loving connection with anyone that you have on this planet. Anybody you meet could be a prospective, beautiful, romantic connection. Okay? Now, when it comes to having a soulmate in your soul contract, it makes things slightly more difficult because you know in your heart, and usually we have this little knowing in our heart, right? We know that there is somebody out there for us. We know, we feel it. I know I felt it. Now, granted, I am a twin flame, so I felt my twin flame throughout my entire childhood. Like I knew he was there. I felt somebody who was a part of me, but I couldn't quite put my finger on what it was or why. Okay. A soulmate feeling can be something similar. So that sort of longing, that feeling of, oh gosh, like I know that there's somebody out there for me. I just haven't found that person yet. The difference is it's going to start feeling stronger. You're going to start feeling that connection more the closer you get to meeting that person. When you have that feeling, of course, we do a lot of dating, we do a lot of searching, and there can be a lot of disappointment along the way if you are not meeting the right people. But just understand that all of these experiences that you are having are sort of leading up to the meeting of the soulmate, so it is in the exact right timing. Not always, but most of the time, the exact way in which we meet our soulmate and the exact time in which we meet our soulmate is usually written in the soul contract. So that's not something you can actually change without great difficulty. So kick back, relax. If you know you have a soulmate out there, you can feel it in your bones, you can feel it in your heart. Just relax. You will not miss it. It will not be a situation where somehow you take the wrong train and then you will totally miss your significant other for the rest of your life. I can guarantee you that if this person is meant for you, they will always be in your life no matter what. One thing that my angels have shown me is that even though we do have free will, and this is talking about free will versus destiny, right? Even though we do have free will, if there is something within your soul contract that states that you're supposed to meet this person at this time and in this way, the angels actually will intervene without you having to ask. They will intervene on behalf of your soul who has already created this soul contract. This is an agreement that was made ahead of time. Essentially, if, let's say, for example, you do miss that train and there's a chance that you might miss meeting this person, the angels will orchestrate things exactly the way that they need to be orchestrated in order for you to still meet. It's amazing what the angels can do and what your guides can do, what source can do. Like, talk about miracles. Anything can happen. The impossible can happen. So what happens when you find out that somebody in your life is not part of your soul family and they're not a soulmate? What exactly does that mean? It means that they're actually there for a reason. For example, my sister and my mom and I were all part of the same soul family. We have been working on very similar things together for a very, very long time. I have accessed many of our past lives in the Akashic Records and seen a lot of the experiences the three of us have had together. And you can really start to see the collective pattern that we're working on. You know in your heart the people who are part of your soul family. You can feel the difference in the resonance and in the relationship that you have with this person. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that this relationship with this person is going to be really smooth and loving and amazing. I mean, it can be challenging. Some members of your soul family may choose to incarnate in very challenging roles in your life in order to help you ascend to a higher vibration. On the other hand, my father, who was definitely somebody who I loved, he was somebody who was really an amazing person on so many levels, but I didn't feel that deep, deep connection with him as I did with my sister and my mom. And the reason for that is because this was actually the very first lifetime I have ever had with him. And so our souls were just starting to get to know each other. He came into my life. I actually chose him as well as my mother as parents. And I chose him because I needed to have a very particular experience in order to propel me forward for my life purpose. He's what I would call sort of a supporting player or a supporting actor in the play that is my life. So he came in, he did the things he was meant to do. And once I took a look at our Akashic Records together, I found out that, in fact, after he passed, which was just recently, that was the last lifetime we would ever have together. And that's totally fine. I can still connect with him on a soul level. I can still talk to him on a soul level. But for our purposes, I'm going my way and he's going his. He's got other things that he needs to do. And so it's not to say that potentially in another timeline, potentially in another dimension, that we might have experiences together. But for this particular human experience on Earth, this is the last lifetime that we would spend together. There's never any reason to completely feel disconnected or feel sad about the fact that maybe you're not going to have another lifetime with somebody again, because you have to understand that this is all just a three-dimensional human experience that we are talking about. And when you get into the levels of spirit and soul, we're all connected anyway. And our soul and our spirit is part of our human bodies. So in fact, we are always all connected at all times. So there's no need for sadness. There's no need for wondering if this person will ever come back into your life, because they're always there. You can always talk to them no matter what. And especially if you lose a loved one, which, like I said, my father just passed recently, and it's been really amazing to be able to connect with him. It's been beautiful to be able to have conversations with him being on the other side and having all of this knowledge that he can actually pass down to me and tell me about our own experiences. Delve into the fascinating past of Parisian icons such as Simone de Beauvoir, Marie Antoinette, or Sandra Bernhardt. Join Edith de Belleville for her brand new podcast, Rebels of Paris, right here on Paris Underground Radio. We will be right back with The Heart of You after a word from our sponsors. Welcome back to The Heart of You on Paris Underground Radio. So while we might mourn the 3D human that we lost here on Earth, we can actually revel at the person that they truly are, that we can try to now get to know on a spirit level. Often the muddiness of our human experience can hide some of that with some people. I want you just to be aware of that when you connect to people in spirit, in the 5D, it can be a really rewarding and beautiful experience. It can also help to show you who each person is in your life and what they mean to you. Even if you don't know who is in your soul family, who is your soulmate, who is not, if you're a twin flame or not, it actually doesn't really matter because the labels don't really matter. What matters is the experience that you are having in this moment. Are you having a lot of challenges? Are you going through a lot of purging? If you are, you will need to find that support system, in which case you can call in that support system for you. Ask your angels for help with whatever it is that you are struggling with. Ask your angels to send you people who are going to help you in this situation. Ask your angels to send you your soul family, and they will do it. It'll happen in a heartbeat. You will meet people who you resonate with, who you know are part of your life for a reason. And when it comes down to those destiny points, those points that are fixed, don't worry about it because essentially you will always get there. And in the meantime, if you continue worrying about how to get there and when it's going to happen, you're going to miss the beautiful parts of your life leading up to that point. So my recommendation is to always stay in the present moment as much as possible. Manifest consciously. Make sure you know exactly what it is you want to experience in this life. If you want to experience joy and happiness and adventure and excitement and surprise, whatever those things are, make sure that you are consciously manifesting those while you are in this space of going through the things that you need to go through in this life to learn those lessons. Set the intention with the universe that these are the things that you would like to have in your life. And like magic, those people who are going to support you in that are going to come into your life. I really hope this episode has brought you some clarity and some peace surrounding soulmates and soul family. And I would love to hear from you what your experiences are in regards to soul family as well as your soulmate or soulmates. And if you would like to write me your story, I would love to hear it. You can write me at annette@infinitesoullove.com. If you would like to book an Akashic session with me, feel free to head to my website at infinitesoullove.com. You can also follow me on social media at infinitesoullove1111 on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, as well as TikTok. Don't forget to rate this podcast. The ratings really, really do help me, and they help the podcast network as well. Make sure that you are looking down at your phone or on your computer and you're rating the podcast and giving us a really great review. I would very, very much appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode, and have an amazing day.
This episode of The Heart of You was produced by Jennifer Garrity for Paris Underground Radio. For more on this show and shows like it, please visit parisundergroundradio.com.